Today I'm going to be talking to you about the 1.2 lenses for the Nikon Z system. They're the big ones, they're really sought after, they're really expensive. I used all of them, I think, in pre-production reviews as well as in real life wedding days. I'm gonna talk to you about why I only have one of them here in front of me today. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, I'm Taylor Jackson. I photographed over 1,000 weddings all around the world. Primarily, those 1,000 weddings have all been on Nikon, but I've also used Sony and Canon. And there are 80 real life behind the scenes wedding days up, or maybe even 90. On the channel now. So you can watch those after if you're interested in seeing a real life behind the scenes wedding day. Also, until the end of the month, 50% off over at the members website. So if you do want to get my presets are usually $89 on their own. But if you sign up to the members website at half price, usually it's $60 per month. Right now it's $30. And you can get those presets right now for $30 rather than for $89. And the price will never increase on you and you can cancel at any time. And there's also a 100% money back guarantee if you sign up for the members website. It's not what you were thinking it was going to be. Send me an email. My email is right here on the screen. I'll send your money back. Now, let's talk about the 1.2 lenses. So they're all amazing. You probably already knew that. And if you have the budget and you want to carry them all with you, by all means, you can get all of them. For me though, I carry everything on my wedding days in a single Peak Design messenger bag. So it's a smaller bag, it has 3 slots in it. One slot is usually my flash, one is a Tamron 35 to 150, and one is my second camera body, usually with a 24mm 1.8S. And because of that, I kind of have to just choose one lens. So I choose whatever I want my main lens to be. I've chosen the 50 for this season. I've had a love-hate relationship with the 50mm focal length. It's always been the lens that whenever I'm doing reviews for Nikon cameras, that I'll always ask the Nikon team to bring so I can use it. I have bought this lens before. This is actually the second time I bought it, and I am hoping to keep it this time, but we will see together. And maybe it's because it's in the middle. So 35 is obviously a little bit wider, 85 a little bit more telephoto. Maybe the reason that I like the 50 is because it's the best of both worlds and it's right in the middle. But that said, there are massive advantages to the other two as well. The 35mm focal length for me as a wedding photographer, I think is more useful than a 50 for getting ready coverage, for the fact that most of our images now have to be in vertical, or at least they have to be more of a 50-50 split. I find that 35 is just a little bit better for vertical images, and the optics and the way the focus fades in and falls off from the 35 1.2 is amazing and it's beautiful, but I don't know if you feel that bokeh pop as much as you do with the 50. I'll also say that the 85 at 1.2 when you're close distance is almost too much, that if you're photographing a wedding couple in front of their wedding venue, you're not gonna see the wedding venue, that it's just gonna be this beautiful out of focus background, which might look great to you as a photographer, but to them, they might actually wanna see what's going on back there. We'll talk about the 85 in a minute. The 35, I think, is probably one of the best lenses ever made for photographers. It's for sure the best 35mm lens ever made. But in terms of lenses that when I look back at everything that I've used over my career in photography, I feel like that one just stands out as the best lens. For me though, I find the 50mm focal length, I think, to be more useful throughout an entire wedding day. So if you are investing into one of the more expensive lenses, the 50, it's gonna carry you most of the day. You're able to do probably most of your family photos with it. Probably do a good chunk of the ceremony with the 50mm 1.2. Depending on the getting ready situation, you can probably do a lot of the getting ready photos in the 51.2. And then into the reception, it doesn't even matter how dark it gets as long as the quality of light is still decent. A 1.2 aperture just lets lots of light in, as well as all these lenses handle out of focus highlights really well as well. So if there's some bulbs or lights in the background, they're not gonna be doing anything that is too distracting and pulling you away from the subject. Now, when it comes to the 35 and its usefulness throughout an entire wedding day, I feel like it is a very, very useful lens for getting ready coverage. It's probably not a go-to lens for a first look. You're gonna have to be way too close to your couple. It's probably not a go-to lens, maybe for a few photos of the ceremony, but not for an all ceremony lens. That award goes to the Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8. But the 35 will be a great focal length for family photos. And then when you get into the reception, it's good as a second focal length, but I feel like you need something a little bit longer. Otherwise, you're gonna be 3 feet away from the podium, trying to get close-ups of people doing their speeches. Now the 85, so I have a lot of wedding days on the channel, and a lot of them I feel like I shot maybe 85% of the day on an 85mm lens. Maybe that's the rule, the 85% rule. 85, no, it's not a rule. But there were absolutely some days that I would do on an 85mm lens and maybe 10 other photos from a wider lens for just some interiors or maybe a cake cut or once the dance floor got crazy. But the rest of the day I was very, very happy on an 85mm lens. For getting ready coverage, I think an 85 is gonna be a little bit too tight, and it's also gonna make that background completely disappear if you are shooting at 1.2. And if you're not shooting at 1.2, if you're stopping down to f2, you might as well just get the f1.8, in my opinion. But for me, if I'm not, at least most of the day, utilizing the full abilities of the lens, I feel like I should have just gone with a different lens and saved that money and also saved the weight in the bag. For ceremonies, I feel like an 85 1.2 can pretty much get you most of the ceremony coverage that you would want, which is nice, especially if you go into crop mode in your camera. Yeah, you're gonna want a wider lens for a few wider shots that include everybody, but for a main lens for a ceremony, I feel like you could absolutely get by with an 85. I prefer that 35 to 150, but if you have that 85, it's going to make the ceremony look beautiful. Maybe a note here, have a wider lens on your arm in case something happens and you gotta get some tight photos. And same with photos of the bridal party, but when it comes to photos of the couple, I feel like that's when the 85 1.2, especially golden hour, it just really pops. So you can see my dilemma. So I want the 35 for getting ready coverage, but then probably the 85 for a first look, and then an 85 again for the reception when I have to get those podium shots, and the 50, I didn't even mention it in that wrap up. And the reasoning for that is because the 50 is kind of that average. If you're comfortable using the 85 on reception, you can probably get away with the 50. When it comes to family photos, I can get by with the 50. And when it comes to photos of the couple, the 50 is gonna look amazing. I also prefer the compression of a 50 over an 85. An 85, I feel like makes everybody look their true size. Whereas a 50 or a 35, I feel like you can do some slimming with it and you can distort things in a positive way that makes people a little bit happier with their photos. I feel like an 85 is just true to life, and some people don't wanna see themselves true to life. You can also squish everything. I do the 98% trick. That's a video on the channel as well. And I basically just export everything and I squish it 98% so that they just lose like 5 pounds and everybody's a little bit happier with their photos. Now, will I keep this 50mm lens all wedding season, or will I trade it for the 35 or the 85? Stay tuned to the channel to find out, because I'm not sure. I'm gonna do my best with this. I love this lens and I hope that I find it as useful as I want it to be. Again, 50% off the members website if you want to get in. It's the lowest price it's been since I think 2021. So you can get in for the $30 rate. That rate will never increase. It's also no contract. You can cancel at any time and you get instant access to all those downloads. You can keep those downloads. If you download the presets and then you end up canceling a couple months from now, that's totally fine. They're yours to keep. And you also get instant access to all of the courses that are on the site as well, which is a lot, including the Taylor Jackson method, which is how I do all my hybrid photo video coverage on wedding days as one person, mostly just with this kit right here. 50% off, 100% money back guarantee. You sign up, it's not what you're expecting. Send me an email. Email is here on the screen. Send your money back. That's all for today. Any questions, feel free to put them down below. I'll see you again next time.